This is the second day of Chapter 7, Lesson 7.2, Division, Properties of Exponents. So when we had letters to raise to a power times the same letter raised to the power, we could just add their exponents. So if we have that letter divided by, we wouldn't add, we would subtract. So you can think of it this way. If I have 5 A's on top and I have 3 A's on the bottom, how many are left? 2. Okay, so look here. 6 to the 5th, 6 to the 4th, 6 to the 1st. If you don't believe it, you can try it in your calculator. And 9 divided by 3 is 3. 7 on top, 6 on the bottom, 1 remains on top. 12 divided by 36. Well, we can reduce it. We're not going to divide it, so we can keep it as a fraction. 12 goes into 36 3 times, so it reduces to a third. I have 5 n's on top. I have 1 n on the bottom, so I have 4 remaining on top. So it's 1/3, but it's n to the 4th. You can just leave it as n to the 4th. You don't have to write anything else. Here, I have 3 on the bottom and 1 on top. So 3 minus 1 is -2. So if it's negative, it needs to go to the bottom. And now it's positive. Or we could have just done this. So you can still subtract, but you'll get a negative. But realize if it's negative, it needs to move. Or just say it's bigger on the bottom, subtract, but keep it here. Okay, same thing here. Anything divided by itself is 1. 4 minus 2, 2, it's bigger on the bottom, that's where it stays. Or 2 minus 4 is -2, but realize you have to move it. So a positive has to be your answer. Here, a -21 divided by 7 is -3. If it's a negative exponent, it needs to be moved. 2 minus 5 is -3, so make sure you move it. If you can see that it needs to be moved without doing all that, that's fine. When I square something, I need to square the 4, I need to square the p, I need to square the 7, and I need to square the r. So I'm going to get 16p to the 14th over 49. That can't be reduced, and neither can the r's or the p's. Here, it's negative. It needs to be moved. It needs to go to the bottom. Now it's positive. It's negative. It needs to be moved. So this is going to be h cubed, h to the 6. That's going to be h to the 9th. Then we have, this turns into a 1. This turns into 10, just like before. Anything to the 0 power is 1. All right, here, if it's negative, it needs to be moved. Negative needs to be moved. Positive stays on top. Needs to be moved. That stays. So it's going to be 1f to the 11th. Here, x to the 5th is on top. If it's negative, it needs to be moved. Well, 15 divided by 5 is 3. X to the 5th. 11 minus 9 is 2. -15 divided by 5 is -3. T to the 1st. Well, t to the 0 gives you 1. If it's negative, it needs to be moved. If it's positive, it stays. So, -3 times 1 is -3. U to the 4th. So let's recap all this. I just kind of went through it because sometimes just trying to experience it, you get the hang of it in the gist. So let's talk about a few things. Why is anything to the 0 power 1? Because let's try an example. If I have a to the 5th divided by a to the 5th, anything divided by itself, like 4 divided by 4, is 1. Same thing here. A to the 5th divided by 8 to the 5th is 1. Well, isn't that the same thing as 8 to the 5th minus 5? 8 to the 0? Anything to the 0 power is 1. Okay? All right, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. Send these notes.